chat with me while I oil my hair. So good morning, everyone. First, I'll brush this nest out. My first YouTube video. Just kind of wanted to get some content out there, just do some talking, and don't really know where to start this at, but let's just see where it goes. So today I'm only oiling my hair with this black castor oil and this like Indian hair oil that has the Brahmi and Amla, both ingredients very good for your hair. Usually you can use like sesame oil. I mix it in with rosemary essential oils or tea tree oil, or if you look online, just like specific problems you might have, like dryness, dandruff, hair growth, rosemary is good for that, things like that. So you can put different essential oils in, like a sesame oil, coconut oil, any different type of oil, and you can just like heat it up a little and put that in your hair. That's really good for you also. Today I'm just using these quick products, but any oil is better than no oil is what I say. So let's get started. Basically, I'll just teach you how to oil your hair first quickly. You just do 4 fingers up from your eyebrow and then 4 more. This is your first point in the middle of your head, so I usually just drop a little bit of oil here and just spend a little bit of time rubbing that in. Yeah, so I haven't even said my name yet. I'm sure if you're watching this you know me, but for those of you that might not, my name is Helly. Starting this YouTube channel just mostly personal and maybe to reach a couple of people, whether I know you or not already, but basically I just want to chat, share my story, create a community, and I'm not sure how to find a group of people, like-minded people like myself, or people that want to just like chat about things, discuss about things, like have a space where they feel comfortable, where they can just like go have people with similar issues, a space where they feel safe, feel supported. I mean, these would be my ultimate goals, I guess. But yeah, to start that, I think I'm just gonna start putting some content out there and see if anyone resonates. So, you know, let's just do it. Basically, I currently am living in New Jersey at my uncle's house. For the past couple of years, I was living in New York back in, I guess, early Q1, Q2 of 2022, and then I had decided to kind of go abroad to Europe and make my way through Europe eventually to leading me to India. So I did that, and then I ended up quitting my job so I could, like, obviously, like when I was in India I wanted to dedicate myself to doing things, more charitable work, something more fulfilling. So I was volunteering with children and women in areas around India. And then 6 months after I moved to India, unfortunately my dad got sick. My parents have been divorced for a very long time, about 20 years, 2005. So yeah, about 20 years. So my parents are divorced. My sister is in PhD school in England, shout out. So fortunately I had the capacity to be able to like leave what I was doing at that time to come back to America to take care of my dad. Okay, then your second point, you just take 4 fingers. Oh, and when I massage, I just go like this in the spot, and then you can also like make your hand like this so you can like see your fingers, and just use those in a little like circle. Also, if you have like one of those tangle teasers or like those shower brushes or just a regular hairbrush, to just use that to create some stimulation. Basically, you're just stimulating the blood flow in your head, and that is where your lovely hair will grow from. Then 4 fingers back from that point, this is the highest point of your head. So being that it's the highest point of your head, it will get the least blood flow because, you know, your body is pumping from up to get there. At least that's what I think. And then just massage this point. So I had come back to America to take care of my dad. I will make a separate video on being a full-time caregiver, specifically at a young age for like a parent. That is like an experience that I would like to dive into a bit deeper, that I think would help, because at that point when I was like being a caregiver for a parent, I mean, I went to Reddit. Again, shout out Reddit, because like they always have a community for things, but it was just hard to find a space where I just felt like, you know, I could just like be, and I didn't have to just like, you know, be this caregiver version of myself that I currently was, or like whatever. Yeah, so I was caregiving for my dad, and then he was getting better. So we ended up deciding that the two of us together would go to India. His family is there. Like I said, he was getting better, but he could continue taking his treatment and he can do rehab from there. So we went back to India. We were there for a few months as he was recovering. And then unfortunately in February, he ended up passing away. He got sick again. Very complicated. Like I don't even know where to begin with his health issues, but in the end he ended up getting some hospital-acquired pneumonia, and he already had lung issues, so unfortunately he wasn't able to fight back. But he was a warrior for sure. He fought very long and hard. Like I said, he only passed in February, so it's been a few months. 3 almost now. Yeah, so then when he passed away, then now I'm back in America because, not just America, I'm in New Jersey, as I mentioned, but I'm in America because my dad had a couple of businesses out here, so as his eldest child and no wife, I am in charge of taking care of those now. So that is also another thing that I want to take you guys with me. So he actually worked in the cannabis industry. He owned a couple of dispensaries out in Oklahoma, and then now he's switching into the New Jersey market. So stay tuned with me while I navigate the life of an entrepreneur for the first time. That's also a part of what's to come on this channel. But I'll try to do things about, you know, my life as an entrepreneur, my life as a caregiver, traveling. I do like to travel. I did like to travel a decent amount, but then obviously caregiving with my dad and stuff, that took a big toll on me. So now it's going to be a lot about, you know, rediscovering myself, rediscovering who I am after I was a caregiver. Like when something like that happens, especially like taking care of my dad and then losing my dad and then having to give up basically all my dreams that I had, little rant, but when I went to India, I had given up a lot to actually go there first. Like if you can imagine giving up my very comfortable, stable, awesome job in New York City. I gave up my boyfriend, again, very comfortable, stable, awesome, gave up my home here, my family that were here, gave up everything to move to India to pursue this like dream that I had. Again, more to come on that later, this dream that I had, and then to give all of that up to just come back to America. I have to rediscover a lot of myself. Now back to my dream that I had, eventually I would like to start a charity or create a community or space for women and children in India specifically. it's like we have the opportunity to find spaces, but they have even less opportunity than us, amongst a lot of other things. So let's see what happens. More to come on that too. But again, this space is a space for us to get through and figure that out together. And then I was watching a podcast this morning, and I was really trying to figure out, like, why am I doing this? What am I doing this for? And they said something in the podcast. They said, because I always feel like that imposter syndrome, like, I'm not qualified to tell you guys what to do, or like, I don't want someone to like listen to me and then do something and it doesn't work for them. So you feel like that imposter syndrome, like, what are my qualifications, and do I need to acquire or achieve XYZ before I can talk to people or go spread my story XYZ? So that's like something that I always struggle with, and like making sure everything's like done or perfected before I like put it out there, or like, and then I never end up putting it out there because obviously nothing is done and perfect in my eyes, or actually isn't. But the podcast was basically saying that like you're qualified to help the people that you used to be. And that is so true. Like, if my experiences, if I can just share my experiences and just provide with maybe someone who's going through something similar, that might go through something similar, that has gone through similar, just a space where they feel heard, or they feel seen, they feel like, oh, okay, like other people are going through similar things also, and like I can too. That's the only thing. Like, if only one person can see this video and be like, oh, I'm caregiving for my father right now, like, it just feels so lonely, but I saw that you were doing it also, and that made me feel like a small sense of peace or community, that there's somebody else out there in the world doing something like this, or anything. So yeah, let's see. Just gonna use this brush now to massage a little. I'm gonna put a bit in over here in my baby hairs, try to get these things to grow. And then a lot of people, like, if you do like the slick back ponies or put your hair up a lot, or updos, anything like that, you'll find a lot of hair loss in this area. So again, just massage it. Now, you don't need to use like obviously like too much pressure or anything like that, but definitely massage it well. If you know Indians, we're gussing shit up all the time, so elbow grease. Yeah, so I am here trying to figure out, I've always been a bit entrepreneurial, but obviously, like, I've been stuck in the vortex, which is society and life, and it's kind of hard to like step outside. Growing up, I didn't have that much money or opportunity, so you don't really even think, like, my dad did business obviously, and I told you, like, I always saw him, like, I didn't tell you this yet, my dad did business, and I always like saw him kind of like struggling in a sense. I would say financially more than emotionally. He was a very strong person that was always happy through all the ups and downs of his life, which very inspirational. But so I'm struggling a lot, like, financially throughout his life, and like obviously if you don't have money yourself, like my mom didn't really work, so it's kind of just like getting a job that was stable, did just provide money. So I kind of just like, that was my aim, and obviously like it was all well and good. I definitely did achieve that aim. Like, I graduated college, got that, eventually like worked up, it didn't just happen like this. After college, I had to, like, again, work is always needed for most people, so I had to work to get there. But then eventually I was there, like probably in the peak of my corporate career, 5 years in, a good associate job in New York, like could buy whatever I wanted, travel where I wanted. Because of COVID, we also had like there was a couple of years of remote working, so remote work was a lot more like available and flexible at that time, so I was able to like travel and work and just buy and consume, and it was all nice, but it wasn't fulfilling. And because I had that job and I had the opportunity, I decided, let's just quit, go to India and see if I can start something else there. Now again, I'll save that story for another day, like exactly like what I want to do in India and like the processes of there and things like that. But I do want to say that like I'm gonna be talking about India and like doing something there, and like that's a long-term goal of mine, of course. And when I moved there, I thought that I could make it happen a lot like quicker, and things seemed like they were falling into place, that they were happening quicker. But now that I'm back, it seems like it was like more of just time to water the seed and to like love it and care for it. But now it's time to let that seed rest and do its thing, and slowly it will grow. Trees don't grow overnight. They all start with sprouts. So, and I've been saying this to my family a lot, like dreams only don't come true if you give up. So I could easily like come back from India, say, oh, I have to take care of my dad's business, like I don't have time, like blah blah blah, like this is my life now, and this is my life now. But that doesn't mean that like eventually I won't be able to go back to the Indian market in a different way, in a different capacity, maybe even a better way, because I don't know life, only God does. And if God had planned for me to be in America right now doing work in this way, well then God's plan. Who am I to challenge it? All I can do is not give up on that focus that I have of having that dream come true. So if you guys have a grandma or a parent or anybody, an aunt, uncle in town that knows how to oil, you know how good it feels when your ba or whoever is like massaging your head with that like hot oil, making those little puddles, and never hits the same when you're doing it yourself. But hey, that's life, right? Gotta do everything ourselves eventually. Yep. And then the last place is, I'll show you, on your here, there's like a few points on, this is on both sides, but on either side of this line here, you'll just put a couple and then massage on the sides. I'll just do one side at a time. So yeah, so I don't really know what else is going on. Today is Friday. Have a few things planned this weekend that I'm pretty excited for, seeing some friends. And since I was like basically in India for the past like 2 years, 1.5 years, I haven't seen a lot of my friends, haven't had time to catch up. Obviously, like life over there is very different. I was born in England, and then I've lived in America, England, and India pretty much, my whole life, like on and off, but the most time I've spent in one country. Definitely America. I did all my schooling here, went to college here, working here, so, but then when I spent the time in India for the past few years, I'm just like, the culture, I've always been like culturally connected definitely to India and my like spirituality and my roots. So spending the time there, I guess I just like soaked it in a lot. Like I drank the Kool-Aid there, and now when I'm coming back, I feel like I am one of those like first generation Indian immigrants, like coming to America and like working here and like trying to make the American dream happen here for my family back at home. And like obviously here, like I said, I'm living with my uncle, so my sister is in England doing her PhD, and my mom is actually abroad as well, so don't really have that much family here, just my uncle and aunt that I live with. It's actually my dad's uncle, really nice people, and they have a dog and really nice house and just like suburban life. So definitely like I'm also like, despite all the things that have happened to me in the past couple of years, like I definitely appreciate and recognize, have gratitude for the privilege that I do have currently, because like even to have the opportunity to like be able to be like, yeah, so then we decided to go to India when my dad was sick. Like people can't do that when their parents are sick. They don't have the means sometimes, or the methods, or the privileges to be able to like, oh yeah, we have a home there, like we have a family there, we get all this stuff there. So like we were able to go there, and then to come back here, like if you know me, like, you know, I've been driving like shitty cars my whole life because, like I said, when we were younger we didn't have money. And then I did have a really good car during COVID. I mean, really good car. I had a Wrangler, a Jeep Wrangler, an older model, but it was really nice because I had one of the cars since I was like 16. So like I think that was one of the moments in my life where I was like, finally, I think I was like maybe 20, 26, 27 years old. I was like 20, yeah, 25, 26 years old. I was like, I finally, like 10 years it took me, but I got myself, I paid for it myself, I got myself the car that I had always wanted. And like my car before that was so shitty. Like the hood of the car was brown, the rest of the car was black. That's really all you have to know. But like that was a very proud moment. Anyway, so yeah, now I'm back. My dad was driving like a BMW around. That was his car, and now it's my car. So I'm like driving a BMW, like living in a nice little house in the suburbs with a little dog and a family that always cooks me like nice, warm, you know, home cooked Indian food. And I'm just like, with everything that has happened to me, I have to still take these times, these seconds, to appreciate all the positives in my life. Like to be here in America, sunny days are coming. My dad had this business that he was working on that like I get to see what happens, like live out his dream for him. I get to drive a BMW, like I get to have a dog. Like these are the things that I wanted as a child, that of course the circumstances that I'm getting them in right now are less than ideal. They're not exactly how I envision them, but that doesn't mean that they're not here. And it's like I feel like my whole life I always look at everything like a goal that's like an end all be all. Like one day I'll be rich, one day I'll be famous, one day I'll have XYZ. And it's like, yeah, you will have those things, but it's never gonna look like this like perfect dream that you had in your head. And even when you do achieve those things, it's not just like, okay, well, that's it, now you get to coast the rest of your life. Like that, there's still life will always be happening. So it's kind of just like appreciating the things that you have when you have them, and recognizing that even though like it doesn't seem like, you know, these are the things that you hoped for, they are the things that you hoped for. Like one day you were sitting there like hoping for the things that you had, and now they're here now. And maybe it's not the things that you're hoping for still, but that's how you keep progressing. You hope for something here, and then you go here. Hope for something here, you go here. So yeah. And the other thing that I wanted to say is just patience, consistency, positive spirit, and lots of grace for yourself and for others. Those are the things that I believe. Oh, and now I just like, you know, oh, so I've just been using that one. Now I like to just go in with this, the Brahmi amla oil, the Indian oil, and just like put a little in random spots like that seem drier or itchier in my hair. Yeah, patience, consistency, gratitude, grace. Just try, like, you know, you don't know where life will take you. You really do not. And it is hard to plan anything. And honestly, even if you do plan things and you try so hard, like, oh, it is gonna go my way, girl, how do you know that your way is the way? I firmly believe that God does everything for you for the best, whether it seems like the best or not. And if you just sit here and trust him, that doesn't mean don't do the work. You still have to do the work, obviously. You can't just be like, I trust God, I'm just gonna sit here and meditate all day long and all these things are gonna happen around me. Well, things will happen around you. But you still have to like put in action towards the things that are calling you from inside. But don't just get like too stuck on the goal. Remain flexible and remain open that life may have other things stored for you. Just doing a quick massage behind my ears. And then the last thing I do, I just like to take a little bit of oil rub it between my palms and into the ends of my hair. Then I'll just put this back up. Usually I do this before I go to sleep, and then I'll just like put a scarf or a towel down on my pillow or whatever, and sleep with my hair in a bun, oiled, and wash it out the next morning. But last night I fell asleep really quickly, so I didn't really do any of that. I was just so lazy, and doing it today, and then I'll wash my hair out tonight. Luckily I'm not really going anywhere. Yeah, so that was it. How to oil your hair and have a little tea and chat with me on this sunny Friday morning.